Well, hello. We had someone install a new 100-gallon Rheem water heater. They're electronically lit nowadays. Has a blower fan. And the problem is with this, it has this sensor, which is a flammable vapor sensor. And the codes on here were lighting up that we were getting flammable vapors. We checked everything. There was no leaks, no flammable vapors. And I measured the ohms across this, and it was about 9 ohms on the one we had. And I called Rheem, and they said that that should work, and it must be the gas valve. So they sent me a new gas valve, which I installed, and it did the same thing. And I called another Rheem tech guy, and he said the 9.5 thousand ohms on this was about the bottom range. He said the range of it is 9 to 40,000 ohms. So I said I needed a new sensor. So I bought a new sensor. This one read about 13,000 ohms. We put it on, it worked a little bit. It's been shutting off and on. It'll work overnight. I come back, I'll shut this switch off, turn it back on, it'll light again. So I was getting pretty frustrated with these sensors, so I put 2 of these. We have 2 gas valves. So someone suggested you just put a resistor in. So that's what I'm trying now. I got some resistors at Fry's Electronics. These were 26,000 ohm resistors, but they said they were only rated for 1/4 of a watt. I wasn't sure if that was good, so I put 2 of them together. When you put 2 together in parallel, that cuts the ohm in half. So then I put another 2 in parallel, and then put those in series. So those 2 together were 13,000 ohms, and this is 13,000 ohms. When I coupled it together, I'm again back up to 26,000 ohms. So I'm sure this is not to code, but we're going to work with this. I'll cover that up better so it's not exposed. But we'll work with this so we have hot water until we can figure out something better with these flammable vapor sensors. Now this one, this is the new one I got. Let's see if I can measure this with one hand. And kind of off there till I get these. Try to get the meter on here. Hey, can you give me a hand here for a second? I just want you to hold these 2 probes. See, I can't do it with one hand, and I'm trying to video it. Hold these probes so you can set it on my knee there. Here, I'll hold this, and you put the probes on the 2 tabs there. And let's measure the ohms. You need both, one in each hand. There we go. Okay, we're measuring the ohms on that. And as we can see here on the meter, we're at about 13.8. Now, as you see at the bottom, that's K ohms, so that's 13.7 thousand ohms. So that means this sensor should have been working. That's good, thank you. But it's not. It keeps shutting off the water heater. So now I have a 26,000 ohm resistor. I'm sure that's not to code, but we've got 7 other apartment buildings on this block that all have old water heaters, and they don't have a flammable vapor sensor. But the people in the building were freaking out here. They wanted to call another plumber or something, but they often cheat you. I've got a story with that. On another building, they called the plumber, and he told them they needed a new module. And I didn't have that time that day to check it. He said it was $1,000. So I went online, and the ignition module was $100. and I went down to check the water heater, and it appeared the module was working and the spark was sparking, but the pilot light wouldn't light. So I was going to take it apart and look, and then I noticed the aluminum tube coming off of the gas valve was a little bent, so I moved a little bit and the pilot light lit, and the water heater's been working since. So the problem on that water heater was someone had bumped or kicked the pilot light tube, and the plumbers were suggesting a $1,000 module, which costs $100, and then they actually said you really need a new water heater, which we can put in for $5,000. So you call the plumber, they want to give you a $5,000 water heater when you need to bend the pilot light tube out instead. Alright, we'll see if our Rheem water heater keeps working here with this resistor right there. By the way, these resistors, they came in a pack of 100 for about $4 at Fry's Electronics.